Today is day 156 of the podcast, and we're going to continue to look at walking in the Spirit and how this begins to bring about our maturity as believers. We have to recognize that as we mature, we're each entrusted with the stewardship. Mature sons in Israel were entrusted with the stewardship, and we're entrusted with a number of things that we're given to steward as well. You know, because of the shed blood of Christ, we don't come before any kind of judgment seat for our sin, but we do have to give an account of our stewardship, and there are rewards for stewardship based on how we deal with our stewardship. So I've shared the concept I'm going to share with you. I've shared in a small group situation before, a room full of women in their 50s, 60s, late 60 age group. And when I started talking about stewardship and that we would each be giving an account, there was a soberness that entered the room, because for many of them, they weren't altogether certain of their gifts. They had not been paying that much attention to it, and the thought that they were going to be giving an account for something they had paid little or no attention to was quite arresting to them. So I'm going to share with you some categories of our stewardship, and I want us to begin thinking along these lines. There's 6 areas we're going to look at over the next couple of days, and they are time. And each of us have been given the same amount of hours in a day, but we have a variety of responsibilities. All of us have different responsibilities. So how do we balance that time? How do we keep from squandering and losing time? We're going to be looking at that. The next one, talents. Each of us have been given talents, each according to our abilities. But how do you begin to recognize what talents, what gifts have been entrusted to you? Territory, depending on who you are, where you live, how many people you know, the kind of family you come from. There are different spheres of influence that we've each been given, and we have to understand our particular territory, because there's a measure of governing it that we give an account for. Temple. We are all a part of the temple of God, being the church now, but we also have our human bodies are temples as well. So where the Holy Spirit abides, there is a certain amount of caring for the temple, both personal and corporate, that we give an account for. And then we each have been entrusted with a part of the story, and that's our testimony. Our testimony is not just the description of how we came to Christ, but our ongoing story in Him. So we're going to be looking at time, talents, treasure, territory, temple, and testimony. And as we steward these, we begin to see fruit bearing take place. So here's today's question. Which area that I've listed are you most familiar with stewarding, and which are you least familiar with stewarding?